Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in listening land, in viewing land. Tough Forum right back at you one more again. Yes, folks, it's been a minute, but here we are back in the midweek catch up, aka the Wednesday Wagwan. So today we're just talking about what's been happening in the news cycle. And yeah, here we go again, still on the fact that men are dying. People are dying at the hands of men, male factors. So over the weekend, as it's been widely publicized in the world about some mass shootings. Second time that I'm talking about mass shootings. And on this weekend, we had 3 separate mass shootings. I heard about a church shooting. I think it was some Asian person who went into a Taiwanese area and shot up a church. A few people died there, I believe, some injured. Not too sure where the other one was because while that was going on in Buffalo, we heard about the major one that kind of took over the news cycle in Buffalo, where we found out that 13 people were shot, 11 critically to the point where, well, 11 died. 11 of them were black. 2 were injured and are in hospital. So yeah, I woke up to this Sunday morning, and got the news, heard the breaking news, and I was like, wow, another mass shooting. But this one made news because it seemed to be targeted because it was predominantly black people that were shot. As the news began to process over the next few hours and days, we found out that this 18-year-old white male drove 200 miles to Buffalo to a Tops supermarket and just began firing and targeting people of color. I actually saw the footage. I can't even believe that they had the footage out, but this dude had a helmet with camera gear. He had body armor, helmet, everything. So we were able to see some of the shocking and terrible footage of people just dying. So anyway, we realized that this was a racially motivated incident. Here we have again a man inflicting this thing, and a lot of the victims were women too. But in this tirade or this rampage that this young person went on, he was doing it in the name of white supremacy. And here we have it that there are so many people slain on the floor of this Tops store. Now it just amazes me that again another blatant disregard for life and just thinking that some lives just don't seem to matter to the point where you took this as a video game pretty much. And now what was disturbing to me, I'll just put my spin on it. What was disturbing to me is that in that same place of Buffalo, just some weeks before, I think I reported on this too, where we had a individual, I believe, that came from an African country, but he was in Buffalo. I guess he resides there now, driving and got pulled over and decided, okay, I'm just gonna walk away. Yeah, bad choice, but he was um, followed, ran down by the police officer, the arresting officer. He was tased, and eventually he was also shot. This gentleman had no gun on him, but because they felt their life was in danger, they shot him and killed him. And it amazes me that here we have someone that was had an arsenal of guns on him, and they talked him out of it. So here you have guns in hands and threatening to harm himself. They talked him off. Good that he didn't kill himself, but it just amazes me that if you can use this restraint and talk somebody out with a gun, you cannot find this restraint to procure the life of somebody who doesn't have a gun. And that's a sad reality in the world that we live in when we see what happens with blacks, or people of color, or Aboriginal, etc. Just the minority group, as they call it, in regards to police officers. So that was shocking. Yes. So that happened over the weekend, and that story spilled over even until today. So 3 days later, you're still talking about it. 4 days later, we're still talking about it. On on the Monday, we found out also that the driver that killed, that reported on this, um, the young driver, 21-year-old, who ran ran down a mother and her three children, um, just about 2 years ago. Well, today a precedent was set because never ever in history have you heard a sentence like this for such a crime. And there's many drunk drivers that have, or impaired drivers that have done something like this, but not so bad. I don't think this is one of the worst incidents we've heard about. A mother losing her a husband losing their whole family, sister losing her sister and nieces, and a husband coming home to an empty home where the wife died and the three children died. That is so sad. So we reported on that some time ago, but we found out today or on Monday that this suspect, or well, now convicted person, was sentenced to 17 years. Um, the Crown was looking for 23 years, but they took off whatever years for the time he spent in there. I believe it was 3 years, and they gave him 17. Stiff nonetheless, what it seems. But if you talk to the family of the victims, or the deceased family, they're not happy because he wasn't showing any form of remorse, they believe, according to them. And not only that, they think it was a slap on the wrist because at least he should have got life. He also was handed down 20 years driving ban, which I think is good and effective. What we have with these incidents, though, is that we have people who are reeling with the fact that they have lost members of their family to dead. And now that they're dead, you have the people who are responsible for their death, who are going to be sitting in a place getting food and shelter for the next umpteen years at the expense of the taxpayer. So just a sad situation, but at least I guess some justice was done. And who's to say when this person convicted will be out? Because according to some news outlets and some pundits, they're saying he'll probably be out in 5 years. So we got issues with the system. Of course, we talked about that, and here still the same old. But at least a precedent was set to, on Monday, with a sentence such as this, 17 years. I've never heard anybody who was convicted of drunk driving or impaired driving get. I don't think the most I've ever heard, I think, was probably like 7 or 10 years, if that. And they were still out in four anyway, whatever. So that happened on Monday. Then yesterday we heard about, in Durham Regional Police, they say that human remains was found in Uxbridge, Ontario, and the remains were those of a man that was 32 years of age, who was reportedly missing in Toronto last year. So here we have somebody that was missing basically a year now, and to find now that family who reported him missing, those friends who reported him missing, now come to the conclusion that he was found just somewhere random in Ontario. This is sad because again, it just shows that people just what is happening to the people? Is it just me, or is evil just spreading more and more? Are people and their morals standards gone so low that it doesn't even matter? Just to discard of somebody's body like that, for someone to come upon someone's body, another human being, that has blood running through their veins just like you and I, and somebody for whatever reason took the life of this person and just discarded his life like he was expendable, like he was dispensable, and that's sickening. The family's gonna get some form of closure because at least they know, as sad as it is, at least they know, well, he's not lost somewhere or whatever. They know he is dead, and they can rest him, or put him to rest. Wow. And we've also talked about this before on this channel, but why it's making news this time now is because it happened to someone who was prominent in our city. Yes, you probably heard it. Um, a Toronto Maple Leaf player was carjacked on yesterday. And as the news cycle reads, says the rise of carjackings, or carjackings in the city have risen quite dramatically. I think we're up to 60 already since the year has started. But it's fascinating to see that, with all these carjackings, we've done up to 60. And now, because it happened to a prominent person, um, in this Maple Leaf player, we're talking about it for days. But I guess it takes something to start something. But it's sad that, like I said, you can't even be safe in your own home. You can't be safe in your own car. You're not safe, literally just walking on the subway or walking on the streets. And it's one thing to get your car stolen. It's another thing when you get hauled out of your car by gunpoint and knife point. And here we have three suspects that took this man out of his car with his girlfriend. They just simply went to a movie, and it could have been worse. But this is the element that we have on the streets here, and we gotta find a way to get these elements off the street. We have to figure out what is the root cause that someone takes this path to say, I'm going to violently take somebody out their car, and if they resist, hey, anything is possible where they may shoot them. Folks, this is what's been happening for quite a while now. And here I am reporting about it today on the midweek catch up, the Wednesday Wagwan, just telling you what's happening. Not really going to go too much into that because that was a lot. I didn't even do one last week. So, I'm there's so much, believe me, something happened last week, as you know, anyway, right? There was a shooting, there was some form of violence, and men were at the root cause. Men were um, at the bottom of that when they checked it out. And I just want to figure out how or what is causing these young youths to commit these crimes. Of course, money's involved. Of course, organized crime is involved. Of course, there's a plethora of things that we can talk about why this is happening. How do we tackle it now? How do we get to the root of the problem? If it's a financial issue, why is it that we can't find or present more jobs or opportunities, period, for these individuals so they don't have to think that this is their best course to go in regards to making ends meet? So, with mass shootings happening, with random carjackings and robberies happening, and people getting shot for their chains, yeah, that happened just in the last week, the week before. Someone just was doing a robbing spree, this taking a chain off somebody up in Scarborough, Ajax area, shot him, killed him, moved on, and done the same to somebody else. And apparently, this person was grabbing and was smashing and grabbing in some kind of jewelry store. So whatever fixation he has on jewelry, it ain't going to do him much because he's in prison now. So at least the police, kudos to them for getting, the swift actions of the people, getting the swift action to the people, for the people, and getting these elements off the street. Now, while they're off the street, we as a society has to try to figure out how do we balance this? How do we talk to these young people? How do we um, get to have a conversation and figure out where they're coming from. I would love to hear their story and why is it that when they were getting interrogated, I would love to know what was the motive beyond money and why they felt that was the only recourse that they had to, resort to. That was the only thing they had to resort to. Ah, boy. Yes, and even last night again, another foiled carjacking. As I was speaking about carjacking, yes, three suspects were captured after trying to steal someone's car. I don't know exactly how they got caught, what they got caught. And while that was happening, the same area as this Toronto hockey player got carjacked, there was another attempt on somebody, a lady, and apparently the lady started to scream when they were asking for her purse or taking her purse and asking for her keys. And somebody, onlookers, heard, came over, subdued one of the gentlemen. Two others ran off and apparently dropped a gun. I don't know if it's a replica or whatever, but they recovered that, and the gentleman held subdued one of the suspects until police arrived, and he's charged now. And chances are he's gonna let go of where these other two assailants are. So that's what's happening. Yeah, this is not TV. This is real life. And you heard it here on the Tough Forum inside the Wednesday Wagwan. So that's it for me today, tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to drop your comments. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know that you heard and you have something to say because I need some solutions. You're going to hear me talking for a while because while shootings are happening so regular and you don't even hear it. I heard it just to end on this note. Somebody said, while I was listening to about the mass shooting, someone said, well, you know what? A lot of shootings was happening in Chicago too over the weekend, but this made the news. This was news. And that really stuck to me because I was saying, what is this person trying to say? Is he trying to say that the other shootings were not news? Was he trying to say that this was news because of how many people got shot in Buffalo and these mass shootings? Was he trying to say, why is it only news when it's in multiples or it's race related? Why isn't it news when it's black on black, when it's Asian on Asian, or when it's white on white? Or why isn't it just news when there's someone dead from a gun or a knife or whatever? So people, I'm here as one outlet, as one person, as one area, one platform that's going to be talking about these things, where you may just keep hearing it in the news cycle and they say, oh, in other news. This is news every day. And I've realized it for quite some time now. And that's why I started this thing, because I'm saying, when are we going to say, hold on, enough is enough? And let's make some more noise about the shootings, about the killings, about why they're happening. And let's make it a news cycle and say, listen, this happened. I'm not happy. I don't feel safe. I want to feel safe. I want to help. I want to bring solutions. I don't want to just stereotype. I don't want to just criticize and point fingers. Also, even if I have to point fingers at some people, I want to be able to still say this is why and this is what I think should be changed. So, people, stay vigilant, stay sober, clear-minded, and be watchful of your surroundings, man, because anything can happen. Tomorrow's not promised. So, just walk like you have two eyes in the back of your head. We be praying. You pray for me, I pray for you. And, walk good. Until we talk again, till you see me and I see you, peace and God bless. And continue to check me out on the Wednesday Wagwan. All right? We talk soon. Peace and one love.